Recording the show?
Yeah, we're recording the show.
The show is this is being recorded. I'm being recorded right now.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh my god. So what I said was I like your look. I don't think I've ever seen you wearing a sweater before. I've known you for like a million years. Explain yourself.
No, I just said it's freezing cold here. And I've worn sweaters plenty of times. I like to try to keep it classy. So you're not looking here. You're looking here, listening to the words coming out of my mouth. There's been some recent events that I'd like to distance myself from others and be like, hey, I didn't. Listen, I used to wear a jersey and boy shorts. I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite here. I'm just saying now that everybody knows how old I am on the internet, like I got to dress like it.
Let's talk about that. So Nick, what's his name? Nick Wright. That's the guy's name. And he's very, very popular, right? He has like a really popular show.
I don't know much about him other than like he's just the guy that like jockeys for LeBron on Fox. That's all I really know. Is like he's like super progressive and supposedly has all these hot takes.
So his what I was gonna ask that, what's his shtick? Like Skip Bayless's shtick is LeBron James isn't good at basketball. That's his.
Yeah, I think his is the inverse. It's like literally the comments were like, oh, he took LeBron's dick out of his mouth long enough to tweet this or say this. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are awful. So I didn't really know because I don't really watch these shows.
I don't really know who that is. But all I know is that he said that we should refund bets if people if they lay 3.5 points, we should refund them in overtime if it loses or if they're getting 3.5. What was it? What exactly did he say?
There was something to there's a clip on the internet saying basically he should get refunded for his bets that lose in overtime. For example, hockey, we have a regulation line and then we have it, depending on where you like to bet, you can bet the game in regulation and you have to lay more juice if you're betting the money line or the puck line, right? Versus if the game goes to overtime. I don't think it's that egregious to say, hey, they should have more offerings. Where he lost me was they should refund my bets. I'm like, you're a 40-year-old man. Why are you asking the sports books? You know how this works. You sound like a college kid. So then he proceeds to go on his podcast and say that he's been betting longer than I've been alive. And I'm older than he is.
How old is this guy?
You're going to have to Google it. I've already exposed myself enough this week. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
But I'm older than he is. We'll leave it at that.
So I don't know enough about who he is. I don't know enough about, I don't understand that the whole mindset. We talked about it last week with the props. And people want their prop bets to be refunded. We were not happy when the Bengals scored a touchdown in overtime to cover the game against Denver. When the Washington football team scored a touchdown in overtime to cover the spread against Atlanta.
The Bears.
I think that was. No. Atlanta on Sunday Night Football 2
weeks
ago.
Oh, that one. I'm sorry. I thought you meant that Hail Mary a couple weeks ago.
Well, we weren't happy about that either. But that's old. Now you're just bringing up old wounds. You know what I mean? But no, it doesn't work like that. I mean, that's part of the bet. I mean, you could have plus 11 points in an NBA game and lose in overtime. It could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unlikely. I get that, but that is
I've had plus 11 points to lose in a college basketball game. I've had a team go over in overtime. It is painful.
What have I told all the people that bet the Bengals minus 3.5 against the Broncos? It's going to be a refund, guys, because the game went to overtime. We're not going to pay you for. No, it doesn't work like that.
That's what he doesn't get, and guys like him don't get. You guys still have to pay out the other side. So when these books offer this goodwill refund, I'm sure they look at the bottom line and say, okay, this is going to cost us $12,000. That's worth it in marketing so that all of these talking heads on X tell everybody what a great job and what a great book we are because we refunded X player's player prop because he got hurt on the second play of the game, right? I'm sure that there is some number amount associated to this goodwill.
Well, I think it depends a lot on what kind of a business are you trying to run. These books now are wildly non-profitable. I don't even know what the word is.
Did you see
I mean,
the numbers yesterday I sent you?
I did read that, A, and B, you know that I'm a nerd and I sit here all day and watch the financial news. That and soccer are the only things I watch outside of baseball season. And I see the earnings reports for these companies. And I'm not even saying it as in a bad way. They have a long-term plan. They've got like an Amazon plan, and they probably are right. I'm just saying that right now they don't make money. In fact, they lose tons of money. So I guess they don't care if they have to pay this side and don't have to pay that side because they're losing so much money that they don't even care about that. But if you're trying to run a profitable business, that's really not an option, is it?
So here's the comments that I found to be the most interesting. Well, what if the books offered an overtime insurance or some sort of insurance on your bet? And I'm like, yeah, then you'd be laying minus 120 because they'd be tacking an extra 10% on to the end of your bet. What are you thinking? Like at no point in time.
No, man.
And I don't mean to disparage
You've
any
got to
books.
be able to.
I'm just saying, you guys are in the
You-
money-making business. You're not going okay, blackjack. When I first moved to Las Vegas, you could find tons of blackjack tables with fair odds. Now I got to go downtown and hawk out a table the second somebody gets up because there's maybe 2 or 3 of them left in town. Like you're getting 6 to 5 odds, you're getting automatic shufflers. You can I found a double deck. The pit boss that literally hated me and Chris when we were out there a year ago, or I'm sorry, in August. It was hilarious because that was the one double deck, or there was maybe 2 double decks on a Thursday night at the Westgate, and we were not leaving that table. Like you're just not. The offerings, whether it's
wait,
casino, whether it's
whoa,
sport,
whoa. One of our pit bosses hated you?
he hated Chris. Chris took his shirt off at the table. What do you expect?
What? What the hell kind of jabroni behavior is that?
I don't know. He's from Boston. What do you
I
expect?
didn't know that.
Yeah, of course. But he was the same guy that gave me the nice margarita because I tipped the waitress $100 to get me an awesome margarita from Velvet. See, so like it goes full circle. But my point being is that if there are things that are advantageous,
that guy's not a pit boss.
He's like a casino manager.
That guy's a director of table games.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I think this is like the overarching picture is the casino is not going to do things that is advantageous to the player very often. And if somebody finds a way,
it depends on what it depends on what the goal of these companies is. There are companies in Nevada. There are sports betting companies in Nevada that I would argue are just right now branding, marketing companies. They're not going to make any money the way they're operating, and they're just trying to enhance their brand and their name recognition, their market share. And again, I'm not saying it's the wrong plan. That is their plan, and it might work in the long run, but in the short term, you can't make money that way. So if you're trying to run a business that's going to make money in 2025, no, you can't just go around refunding everyone's bets every time they throw a hissy fit and lose. If you lose fair and square, you lose. That's how life is.
At Pickett Sports, every single week, I give out $200 to somebody in what they call a bad beat refund. Every single week, I see some crazy, whether it's crazy loss or, hey, a player got pulled with, 13 minutes left. To lose by a half a point, to lose by a half a bucket, to lose by a missed free throw. This is what happens. It's gambling.
This is your generation, though, Kelly. I mean, you guys are a bunch of wimps. I mean, when you might lose a bet, you might lose some money in the stock market, you might lose your girlfriend. You gotta man up and just move on.
Just from buying XRP, and in 35 minutes it took to confirm it went up 30 cents, and I'm like, shit, I just lost $240 like that. Like, this is the price you have to. This is the price of admission. If you want to run with the big dogs, guess what? You've got to be able to handle your losses. And oh, by the way, you should be mitigating your bankroll. killed this NFL season, destroyed on so many insane ways. I just started losing count. But guess what? Last
Is
week it
that
was
why
good.
you've been
College
so?
bowl season's been great. College basketball has
Is
been off
that
to a
why
hot
you've been
start.
so anxious? You've been so anxious this season. Is it because you didn't do well in the NFL?
I think
feel like you've been like
also
grumpy.
you have to remember college football was really too. Against the spread, it was fine, but I did not get any outright underdogs. The most I got was the 2 out of the 3 a couple different times, and it was just like sitting there in the Westgate in November. I was so pissed at North Texas for ruining my parlay while I was there in person when I knew damn well it should have been Air Force and I didn't have the stones and I overthought it. And so those are the types of things that go through my head. But the reality is, if you're managing your money correctly, whether it's XRP, Bitcoin, the stock market, sports gambling, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You can withstand those bad beats, those gross losses because, I didn't cash Arizona State money line because they missed a targeting call. I don't know. Did I? Did I not? It's up for debate.
Did I complain to you about that game yet? That Arizona State game? I want to complain. You're always venting. I want to bitch. So we took a very large wager from a very big customer of ours. This guy teased Boise State against Penn State up to I think it was 18.5. That one doesn't matter. He won. But the second leg of the teaser was Texas minus 6.5, in which that game was the next day. So the Boise game was Tuesday night. The Texas game was Wednesday morning. And I just thought the bet was really notable and funny because he won both legs by teasing. He didn't just win a teaser. He won because he teased in both cases. The guy's a great guy, a great customer. I'm not worried about it. But it was crazy to win a bet of that size like that. Was a noteworthy bet. I thought it was interesting.
Do I dare ask what you guys charged him for a college football teaser? How many points? 7 points?
The juice on. I don't remember all the particulars, to be honest. That's why it's not the best story. But the only thing I really remember is he won because he teased both games. And the second leg was Texas minus 6.5.
Wow.
So we thought we were good.
Yeah.
When Arizona State got the ball first, right? Or did Texas get the ball? Yeah, Arizona State got the ball first. So we thought we were good. They scored a touchdown. Then they had Texas to 4th and 13, and they gave up a touchdown. Crazy game. But we've done very well.
I mean, especially in overtime. You think, okay, the game's going to land 6. They're not going to kick the PAT. Like all these things in overtime that could or could not go your way, and then to lose by a weird number of 8.
It's okay. We've done really well. I was really happy with the way the guys booked the Sugar Bowl. We did really well in that game. And we had a good NFL week, I thought. I was very happy with it. Did you want to rant about any of the playoff games? When was the last time me and you talked to one another? You're good.
Last Tuesday?
Because
New Year, the 31st, 30th, right? Did we talk on New Year's Eve?
We did a show.
No.
We did a show on New Year's Eve.
No, we did a show on Tuesday. New Year's Eve was Wednesday, right? Yes.
No, New Year's Eve was Tuesday. No, Wednesday was New Year's Day.
And then we did a show on January 2nd.
We did? Oh, I don't remember. I
just went off the handle.
I just remember,
that's all I really remember.
on the last. I just remember you were like, you're just so jumpy this year. You're giving me anxiety because you're so stressed.
I don't have anxiety. Relax.
Yeah.
No.
Today, I gotta say, today,
I might be angry, but I'm not anxious.
Angry. Angry is a better word, actually.
Yeah.
Angry. And today, but look at you today. You're smiley. You're cheery. You got that nice sweater on. I like this, Kelly. Let's keep this Kelly
around. I've had a good couple of weeks. It takes the pressure off. When you're losing, it just feels like you're going to keep losing forever. And when you start winning, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
Our producer said Callie in Vegas had some margs before the recording. Unfortunately, I did not. It is dry January.
Yeah.
Are you participating in dry January? I saw you were
men.
at Naked City last night. How many beers did you have?
No. I played golf yesterday and then I went to Naked City. And hey, you know what? This conversation came up. I'd like you to weigh in on this. So we get to the golf course, and the first thing is we're all like hugging each other and saying hi. And one of the guys says, "Happy New Year." And I'm like, dude, it's January 7th. I mean,
Yeah, I
can
got
you
Happy New Year
still
today. Have you
really?
seen him
What's the statute
since?
of limitation?
Okay, well, the thing was, it's producer
Have I
that said
seen
it to me
him?
when I
No,
logged on earlier. We hadn't
no, because
spoken since it was New Year's.
he was in. He went to Mexico for the New Year's Eve with his girlfriend. I had not seen him in the calendar year of 2025. So
But
you
I think
think
it's
that's
fine.
okay for him to say that?
Yeah, January
Okay.
7th.
Well,
Yeah,
when does that end? I mean,
pretty
I
soon.
haven't seen you all year. Okay, if I see you for the Super Bowl, are you gonna be like Happy New Year? Like I haven't seen you.
You're not going to see me for the Super Bowl. I
Okay.
just want to have to go to New Orleans. I don't want to go.
Oh boy, I'm not a huge New Orleans guy.
I just listen. The last time I was there for a wedding, and I was not well. We'll leave it at that. Like I was doing very poorly. My liver just said I'm done. And I didn't realize it. So, like, day one, you get there, you're ordering hand grenades, you're ordering all these things. Like, you're not paying attention, you're just getting hammered. And then you go to like some hole in the wall restaurant and everything's fried or oysters. And anyway, so like day three, it's the wedding, and I'm like drinking red wine and everything's good. And I'm like, wake up the next morning, I'm like, man, I'm not hungover finally. Well, it's because I realized in Vegas, you walk up to any bar in any casino and you are not getting garbage liquor. You are getting, at the worst for vodka, you're getting Sky. You're probably getting like Herradura for like well tequila. You're not getting Jose Cuervo. You're getting decent booze. Not in New Orleans. You are getting plastic bottle, turn and burn. And I just didn't pay attention and didn't realize it. And I was so ungodly sick. And now this time I'm like, oh my God. So I'm not going to drink for a month. And then I'm going to go to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And I'm like,
why don't you just not get hammered in New Orleans?
It's New Orleans. It's Bourbon Street. It's the Super Bowl. It's going to be bananas. I'm going to see people I only see like once a year. It's going to be a problem. I know it. And then, of course, I'm not the one paying for it.
Yeah.
Going with Pickett. I've done some stuff with those guys before. And it is booze, good wine, good food. Like,
do you remember? We had dinner at Del Frisco's with Sam Paniatovich and Ariel Epstein, two people that I love very much. And me and you got there first, and we were sitting at the bar. We had a drink. We were waiting for them to get there. And then as we walked to our table, you turned the corner, and it was like a back room. And the tables were kind of close to one another. And you said to me, oh my God, all these tables are so close. I'm going to ruin all these people's meals by being so loud. And I was like, why don't you just not ruin their meals? Just don't do that.
Well, it's my dinner too. I want to go and I want to have fun. And I hadn't seen Ariel in a while and I hadn't seen Sam for a while. Yeah. I just sometimes get a little excited.
That was a really fun dinner. I love.
Oh yeah, it was a great dinner. Oh yeah, you guys just left me with the two guys that I could have not been more different. I did not appreciate that. In fact, I was lied to. I was bamboozled.
I think that was a different dinner, though. I know the one you're.
You know how many times I've been to Del Frisco's? There was one Del Frisco's night that we ordered all this food, and we had just gotten crushed that entire Sunday. And we're waiting for our table, and we're sitting at the bar watching, and I'm just like, I'm just going to go back to the Westgate. Like, I don't think I ate dinner. I think I just left. Like, I didn't just left. I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore.
I kind of feel like you and Nick Wright would get along because you take your losses so hard and he wants to just cry his way into getting his money back every time he loses.
I can rest assure you we would not get along on any subject. Like he might be the exact polar opposite of me. It would be very hard for us to find a commonality.
I got to give him credit. So all he did was he saw that Skip Bayless made a whole career out of bad-mouthing LeBron, and he said, I'm going to be the pro LeBron guy, and then his career took off. That sounds smart, actually.
I mean,
sounds like the guy's smart.
Maybe. I literally don't know how he came to be or who he is or anything like that.
There's too many new I think what's happened is you've got all these people they're sports media people, and now I'm guessing their producers, their bosses are asking them to talk about sports betting, and they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't have any idea what they're saying, but it's not even really their fault because they're probably being told to talk about
Yeah,
this
and
stuff,
that's fine.
right?
But just admit that's who you are. Don't go on your podcast, which I had somebody clip and send to me and say that you've been betting longer than I've been alive. Again, I appreciate that compliment.
Yeah,
But
that means you look young. That sounds
yeah,
good. Look at your smiling.
but okay, let's
You're
just say
smiling
in
ear to
some-
ear.
Okay, let's just say in some crazy world, John Murray. Let's just say in some crazy world, he thought I was
This is a crazy
25.
world.
Okay. Let's just say
Okay.
he thought I was 25.
I think Kelly
Aaron
could.
Rodgers
I think
isn't
you
even
could pull off.
25.
You could pull off 25.
No, I cannot pull off 25.
I think.
Also, here's the thing.
Yeah. What's the thing?
So he's 40. If I'm 25, he's been gambling since he was 15 years old in a state that doesn't even have legal gambling. Oh, okay.
I've been gambling since before I was 15 years old. So have you.
Okay. All right. Fine.
That's not that far fetched.
Never mind. Next subject. I want to change the subject. Let's talk about the college football playoff. Let's talk about wild card weekend. We're finally going to have no more garbage NFL games. You should be happy. We're exactly a month away from
Yeah. I got to tell you, I'm really stoked about the next 2 weekends, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's start with tomorrow. You got the Orange Bowl, Penn State, Notre Dame. We are going to be big fans of the Nittany Lions tomorrow. We're going to need Penn State big. A lot of money on Notre Dame. And to be honest, I don't mind that position because I think we talked about it on the last show we did, but Notre Dame really didn't do anything offensively in the Georgia game. They had the strip sack that they converted into a touchdown right before halftime, and then they returned the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown. And I think at that point the game was 20-3. And at that point, the game was essentially over because A, Notre Dame's defense is just really, really good. And B, Georgia was playing a backup quarterback that I'm not convinced could see over the line of scrimmage. So it was, and the game was over. So I just want to point that out. Now, Penn State, I don't think Penn State was overwhelmingly impressive against Boise. I felt like they should have won that game by more than they did, to be honest with you. But the public is firmly on Notre Dame. We're going to need Penn State tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Fun game.
I think it is going to be an interesting game. Let's talk about it from a couple of different perspectives. First, I want to talk about the total because I feel like I love the under there because I'm not going to – let me back it up. I'm not going to bet the side. I have the same guys I do the March Madness Calcutta with. I have 10% of their entry. I said, buy whatever team you want as long as it's not named Texas. I knew we wouldn't be able to afford Ohio State. But also you get paid per each win, right? So because Notre Dame played round one, if they won the Georgia game, we started making money. So we've already made money on our Notre Dame. If Notre Dame wins, we're going to be in business. If Notre Dame goes to the national championship, it works out perfect because I've got an Ohio State ticket in pocket. Now, I think what I'm going to do as my hedge is I'm in like 6 or 7 splash contests in addition to ours, plus a bunch of office football pool contests. I think I'm just going to use Penn State across the board on those as my hedge, right? Because like I'm in the money in our contest. I'm in the money in another splash contest. I think 2 more splash contests. And then I'm definitely in the money in a couple of my office football bowl pools because it's been a really good bowl season. So do you think that that's an appropriate hedge?
How do you expect me to answer that question? Like you're in 90 different things and you're hedging this way by yes, I think it's a good plan. I don't know.
Never mind.
I don't look, I don't have your like galaxy brain for betting. I can't be in like 30 pools. You know, no.
Galaxy brain wants to know. Talk about the total. Because like I said, I don't need to bet the side. I've got
I think Penn State. I think you're going to get an all Big Ten national championship game. That's what I think. I haven't really seen much on the total in that game in the Orange Bowl. Did have one of our most respected customers bet under 53.5 in the Cotton Bowl, which is Friday night, Texas and Ohio State. So we've got a lot of money on both sides of that game. we're going to be rooting for Ohio State at our shop because we win big on Ohio State in the Futures Pool National Championship. We don't do well on Kelly's nemesis, the
It's funny you
Tejas
say that. I
Longhorns.
did a show yesterday and we talked about it and they said, Kelly, you hate Texas. And I said, actually, that's not true. There's at least 5 other teams power rating wise that I hate more than Texas. John's just really honed in on
that doesn't mean you don't hate them though. You got a lot of hate in your heart. So you hate so many teams just because they're like your 8th most hated, you still hate them a lot because you're a hater. Hater. Let me talk about let me ask you this. Which weekend is better? Is it this weekend with the 2 semis and then the 6 wildcard games? Or is it next week? Next weekend, we got 2 divisional playoff games Saturday, 2 divisional playoff games Sunday, the national championship game Monday night. We're going to Naked City Pizza for that one. And we got the suite at Allegiant Stadium. I'm hosting a group at Inter Miami Club America to see Lionel Messi at Allegiant Stadium next Saturday night. I think and there's a UFC next weekend. I think next weekend is even better than this one. What do you think? Tell me. I lost her audio.
That's because I muted myself. Because I realize I get so excited to talk to you, and then I just have to mute myself every once in a while so that I don't interrupt you.
I wish I had the ability to mute you. Like, what if it was like, no, I don't like what Kelly's saying.
I do that all the time on our WagerTalk, like Google Meets. I just mute people all the time. I'm like, you're muted. You're muted. Because like they have background noise and they're clicking and they're typing. I'm like, stop it. It drives me nuts.
Do you want me, before we go into the NFL, do you want me to be on the show again this week on your show?
Yeah. So every Sunday, you promised me if Liverpool won last week, you would be on the show. So I think what you were saying earlier.
It was the final score was 2-2. Didn't win.
I hate soccer. Of course, they allow you to have a tie. Anyhow,
NFL.
John came on Sunday and they just loved him. So yes, he's going to come back on last call again Sunday. Art comes on every single Saturday and I never even have to ask him. He just shows up.
Yeah. Art's a dependable guy. He really is.
And you got to stop locking him out of your office because like the guy needs the equipment too.
Oh, he wants to go in here.
Well, I would love for him to be able to.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll make sure. I'll leave the door open.
It was really funny. He was in your old office and he's like, it's like so empty in here. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, Art does a great job for us. Saturday afternoon, we are going to have, I can already tell, we're going to have a really big decision on Houston. So everybody's betting on the Chargers. We've already taken some of our biggest customers that are going to be in town this weekend. They've already laid the wood on the Chargers. It's going to be a big game. And I think we're going to find out on Sunday or Saturday is, did the Texans, did they just have a bad season and they're just not very good this year? Or did they realize a month ago that they were going to be the 4 seed and they've just been reining everything in with everything pointing to this game? I mean, we knew they were going to win the division. We knew they weren't going to get one of the 1, 2, 3 seed. That was always going to be Kansas City, Buffalo, and whoever won the AFC North. Houston was basically locked into the 4 seed a month ago. They always play in the same time slot. The early Saturday wildcard game is always them. Is it possible that they've just been waiting to show something in this game? I hope so, because we are going to be big Texans fans on Saturday.
Listen, I teased Houston when it was at 2.5, and it's kind of been really, it's not good, right? Like Texans have not covered any games this year because they were such a good cover team last year as underdogs. CJ has this sophomore slump, and the Chargers have just made everybody money all season long. What are they, like 13-4 against the spread or something insane? So I totally expect people to come in on the Chargers, and the contrarian in me likes Houston.
They are big time on the Chargers, and then go to Saturday night. Nothing really jumps off the page of me in that game. That's Steelers and Ravens.
I feel like everybody likes the Steelers there, only because Mike Tomlin kind of owns the Ravens. Nose Flowers.
Yeah. It's a big number too. I did another show this morning and they were asking me why that number is so high. And I said, well, books will sometimes go up to 9.5 because they want you to have to pay for the 7-point teaser if you want to get it under 3. That's part of it. And the other thing is, I don't think people really appreciate how highly power rated Baltimore is. Baltimore will be favored, in my opinion, in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead, if that's what this gets to. If that's what we get in 2.5 weeks. So just an opinion, but yeah, I would say Baltimore, their power rating is through the roof. So is Buffalo's, by the way. So Buffalo's the early game Sunday. I was a little surprised to see that in the morning time slot. They play Kelly's Broncos. And we did take a bet on Denver. We went from 9 to 8.5 on Denver. Green Bay and Philadelphia. So there is sharp money on Green Bay. Green Bay has come down from 5.5. It got as low as 4.5. It did push back up to 5 here, at least.
Is it?
We are
I'm
at
just
5.
assuming they
But
think that there's
sharp money at plus.
no drop off between Huntley and Love.
Well, you mean Willis?
I'm sorry.
Think
Yes. Yes. Sorry. Well, I don't know where
Okay.
Anyway, yes.
Okay. Everybody's brains are fried by this time of year. I think maybe they're hoping that Love is going to be available to play.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it would be this
because I
line
just
would go
assumed
higher
that he was not going to be a go.
Okay. So Sunday night, this one really surprised me that they had the Washington game on Sunday Night Football. They play Kelly's local team, the Buccaneers.
Are you coming for that game?
I say that the sharpest bet I've seen. What's that?
I thought you were coming for that game.
No, I can't. I'm so important. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just such an important person that I need to be here. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just too important to go, I guess. The sharpest bet I've seen on the wild card round. Remember, we booked these games at -108, so we're playing around with the juice a lot. When we were at Commanders +3, +104, +3, plus money, very sharp player. Played Washington plus that number. I like Washington. I think Washington's going to beat Tampa in that game.
I don't. I like the Bucs. I like the Bucs a lot.
Well, you're a homer. You're a Florida homer.
Yeah, right. I just like Baker a lot. Honestly, I think he's been really good for that locker room. I think he's been really good for that team. There was a stat that Ralph gave me earlier on Bet on It, and of course, my chicken scratch is all over the place. So don't ask me to find that right now. It'll take me 10 minutes to do so.
I want you to find it. I'm asking you to find it. I'd like to know what it is. I want the stat.
Teams that have more wins and are on the road historically, and I of course didn't write down what year because every other thing I wrote down what year. Home team or more wins. The road team has more wins than the home team. Are 12 and 21 straight up. That means fade the commies, fade the team with the better record.
You built that up so much. And then you found the stat in like 5 seconds, less than you found it immediately.
Well, I mean, my handwriting's not that good. It's not that bad. There's like only 1, 2. There's like 10 things on there. I can look. I was looking while you were talking, and so I
think the Monday night game is interesting because that Sunday night game last week was about as significant as you can have a regular season game, where the winner is going to be the 1 seed. The loser has to win 3 road games now to get to New Orleans to join Kelly in the French Quarter. Minnesota is in a tough spot because they got to go on the road, play at the Rams.
We were watching Aaron Rodgers Enigma last night, and I forgot.
Oh, how is that?
It was good. That show? I would just binged it. I forgot how that team, that Packers team, had to go on the road and were underdogs through the whole playoffs and the Super Bowl.
No.
No,
they were not underdogs. They were absolutely favored against the Bears in the NFC Championship game, even though the game was.
Oh yes, remember that. All I remember is when you guys first started offering first touchdown scorers. I had a Jordy Nelson ticket. My buddy Jeff came to visit me at work, and he slaps down this Westgate Jordy Nelson first touchdown score, and I was like berserk.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about that. I'm almost positive they were favored against the Steelers in the Super Bowl. They were definitely favored against the Bears in the conference title game. And I'm pretty sure they went off favored. So they beat the Eagles in Philadelphia in the wild card round.
Yeah.
And then they went at Atlanta in the divisional playoff. Atlanta was the 1 seed. Green Bay was the 6 seed. Back then they had 6 teams per conference. And I'm almost positive they closed as a favorite in that game. I don't think they opened.
I think I can find this. I'm
pretty sure Green Bay closed as the favorite in the divisional round against Atlanta, and then they were favored against the Bears for sure. And I think they were favored against the Steelers. I'm pretty sure about that. So they did go on the road because the Bears had won the division that year, and the Bears had a first round bye. So Green Bay did have to go on the road through the postseason. And then what's funny too is if you remember this, so they win the Super Bowl. Rodgers is the best player in the league. They had what was the linebacker's name? Clay Matthews. I mean, they had all these good young players. They were the 1 seed the following year, and they lost at home to the Giants in the divisional playoff game. Giants ended up winning the Super Bowl. So it just goes to show you that it's not all about home field.
They were 2.5-point favorites. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. Why isn't this showing it? All right. I can't find it.
This is a bad segment now, I think.
Sorry. Listen, I was sure that I could find it in this database in the postseason. I don't know. Listen, Brett said that. He goes, remember they were underdogs. He's the cheesehead. I believed him.
Database right here. This mine, Galaxy Brain. We did take a sharp bet. Rams plus 105. Rams on the money line plus 105. The guy I respect bet on that. So you like the Bucks. I like the Commanders. Is that? I don't know. I didn't really have a good NFL
the Commanders.
Season. You think you're calling it a homer pick?
Yes.
You think it's homer? Okay.
Or do you guys just need them? Do you just need? Maybe you just need them.
We're gonna want them. I mean, I can tell you that there will be parlays going to the Buccaneers, and the guy who bet the Washington bet that I told you about, we usually try to maneuver to where we win when he wins. So yeah, I would say the book will be rooting for Washington.
All right.
On Sunday Night Football. I think that's fair.
I was just looking at some teaser stuff really quick. I wanted to pull up and see what my options were.
Okay.
People are going to tease Ohio State. Everybody, I know that sounds crazy. Everybody's going to tease Ohio State, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't do this, folks.
No, you shouldn't.
I would not do
it. I thought I only clicked NFL.
Let me finish. I think if you were going to tease college football, which I'm telling you shouldn't do, this would be as good of an opportunity almost as you can if you could tease Penn State from plus 1.5 to plus 7.5. That's a low total. Total's 45. That's low for a college game. If you shouldn't do that.
JM
I'm just saying that if you
tease Penn State.
If you were no, I did not. I said don't do that. If you were inclined, you could. That's a very low total for a college game, and you could go through 3 and 7. I still don't think you should do it. But I'm of the opinion that Penn State's going to win the game. So I would say just bet Penn State.
That's exactly why I said I was just going to go ahead and put them in the other one and then sit back, and I'll probably bet the under for the game. We'll see. We'll see what pans out in the next, what do we got? 24 hours? 24 hours till kickoff?
Yeah, we got about 26 hours till kickoff. 4:42, 7:42. Are you going to that game?
No. The Orange Bowl? No. I have too much work I have to do. Some of us are also as important. Yeah. So no, I'm not.
That's fair. I mean, you're important. That sounds like fun. My buddy's going to that game. Timmy Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange Bowl is great. I've been a couple times. It's great. I am not going though.
I went to the Orange Bowl. Virginia Tech versus Stanford. Stanford was coached by Coach Jim Harbaugh, and the Stanford quarterback was a young man named Andrew Luck. Pretty good team.
Pretty good. Whatever happened to Andrew? He just fell off the face of the earth, which is what I think Aaron Rodgers wants to do. He just keeps playing football.
No, Andrew Luck is now the general manager of Stanford football. You know, these college teams now have a GM. Like Like Michael Lombardi left VSiN to go be the GM of North Carolina when Belichick got hired. Andrew Luck is the GM of Stanford.
Wow.
Did not fall off the face of the earth.
I
No,
had no idea. All right.
That's because, you know what? Because you're too consumed with betting. You know what I mean?
Because I'm sorry, I don't need to know who the GM of a football team is in college. Because
who's the GM of Kansas State football?
I don't think they have one.
You don't know.
No way. I guarantee K-State does not have a football GM. Kansas State football GM. They have an athletic director. They have a head football coach.
I feel like if I listened to this show,
they have a director of roster management. They do not have a GM.
I wouldn't like you live Googling stuff. You know what I mean? Like, do the show.
I just have to prove that I was not crazy. K-State does not have a GM. Mailbag. Okay. Are you ready? Yeah. Rapid fire.
Yeah.
I love that we have loyal guys that ask every single week questions, but we need some new blood in here. Come on, guys.
I don't like it when David
Hahn have the same 6 guys watch this show.
I don't like when David Hahn asks questions. You know, there's always this overtone and this sarcasm about it. I don't like that. I'd like us to not take any questions from David Hahn moving forward.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
That's not my choice. I don't pick them. I don't even see them till right now. Vincent PGH would like to know what matchup would draw the biggest handle at the book for the Super Bowl, and do you think you will get that matchup?
No, we won't get what we want, right? I mean, that's the theme of this show. Life doesn't always work out for you. Stop crying about it. We won't. Whatever we want, we won't get. I want the Bills. I want the Bills to be in the Super Bowl. I don't really care who comes out of the AFC or the NFC. Sorry, the NFC, because I don't think
it's gonna.
I think.
Yeah, I just don't think that there's like right now. If you guys had it up, and you might, what is it? AFC minus 125 to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the AFC be a small favorite because they've got the two highest power rated teams, Buffalo and Baltimore. But just brace yourself, folks. Kansas City is going to make it. Okay, they're going to beat probably Houston, and then Buffalo and Baltimore.
No. I want to bet the no.
Buffalo and Baltimore are the two. Buffalo and Baltimore are the two best teams. They're going to play each other in the divisional game. I don't know who's going to win that game. And then the winner will go at Kansas City, and Kansas City is going to win. So I don't really answer the guy's question. I think Bills. I'll go Bills Lions.
I can see. Bills,
I think
Lions
that'd be fun.
big handle.
Although the Eagles have such a great fan base. Bills Eagles would be really good too. Who else can come out of the NFC?
Eagles.
Tampa Bay can't make it to the
Lions.
Super Bowl.
Tampa can't make any.
It'll be Bills or it'll be Eagles or Lions.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be the Lions either. So I think it's got to be the Eagles, and that's where I got to figure it out for our NFL Survivor playoff, John. And you didn't even talk about it at all. We're really slacking here on signups. Running into Saturday, it's not guaranteed yet. But we're going to make a run. $50 an entry, $50,000 at stake. Get involved. splashsports.com/Kelly in Vegas. Next question. Why is
I got to do an entry. I'm going to get in that one. Promise.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, now nobody's ever going to want to get in again when I win our college football Survivor. So, or pick them. I'm sorry.
If you win your own contest, will all the crybabies cry? Is that a given?
Right now, I think I'm in third. Yes. Hold on. Right now, I think I'm in third. Okay. Our $25,000 bowl pick'em. I am in standings. Right now, I'm tied for third. I am 1 point behind first place, and I am tied for 27th, and I am 2 points behind first place. So I'm currently winning.
That's really good, man.
Yeah. And I also think that's another reason why I'm going to go Penn State, because I think everybody's going to use Notre Dame. That's how I can get another leg up. Okay. All right. Next question. Okay. Let's see. Wise Guy Wager says, should the NCAA football playoffs have a home field advantage to the higher seeds until the championship? Wouldn't teams playing for higher seeds and home field make it more competitive?
I think it's unfair that all the top seeds don't get a home game in the first round. like I look at a team like Oregon. It was pretty unfair that they had to play Ohio State in the quarterfinal. I mean, you could argue that they were probably going to have to play them at some point to win the national championship, but why can't Oregon get a home game first?
So you're
against the
saying
16
Ohio
seed?
State beats Tennessee at home, then has to travel to Eugene because Oregon should
No,
get
no,
home
no,
field
no,
advantage.
no. I'm saying add 4 more teams and do the first round at the home site. So I don't know who the 16th team was. Let's call the 16th team Miami for sake of argument. Miami goes to Oregon. And Georgia, same thing. Georgia, they play the 15 seed in Athens. And Boise State and Arizona State get a home game too. Then
Instead of
all
anybody
those
having a
teams get a
bye.
home game. And then there's no buys.
Okay. Because the bye was
the other
not
thing
advantageous.
too, no, it wasn't, I guess. But part of that was because the better teams didn't get the buys. We knew that Ohio State was the best team in the country the whole time. They just blew that Michigan game. I don't know how they lost that game. They did. But it didn't mean that they weren't the best team in the country. And then if you're Tennessee got screwed. I mean, imagine you go 10-2, you get the 9 seed, and it's like, okay, you got to go to Columbus on Saturday night. Ohio State just lost to Michigan. Good luck. And they got their asses kicked. 16 teams, all the top seeds get a home game. And I think you got to let the committee, trust the committee to seed the teams. Get rid of that conference winner rule. That rule makes no sense. If you're going to trust the committee to pick the 12 teams, you got to trust them to seed them as well. Obviously, Ohio State was one of the 4 best teams in the country this year. Right?
Yeah.
They were.
I would agree. All right. This is an interesting question. Danny K731 wants to know, is a casino/sportsbook going to be the last business standing that is primarily cash only?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what about like
pawn shops?
Credit cards. Yeah, I was gonna say strip clubs, but I guess no. What about drug
strippers?
dealers?
Definitely take like Venmo and Zelle. Could you imagine you walk in and like the strippers got like the QR code tattooed on her leg? I could see that.
I didn't. Drug dealers, they got it. They definitely operate in cash, right? They got it.
No comment. TS Finky on X says, it appears that there's a tax on Ohio State right now because of their performance in the last 2 games. Is this accurate, or is it more of a downgrade of Texas due to poor performance?
I think it's a fair point. Ohio State would have been favored against Texas pretty much all season long if they played, but not by this much, right? Ohio State wouldn't have been a 6-point favorite against Texas.
Well, like when I text you
the result
during the Rose Bowl, I was like, what did I say? Ohio State minus 4.5. Did I say 3.5? And then you immediately responded like, no, it's too low.
We were, but it was only because of the result of the Rose Bowl. It really reminds me of the NFC Championship game. I think it was in 2015. Denver is in the Super Bowl. They beat New England in Denver on like a 2-point.
I was at that game.
2-point conversion. You were at that game. And then the NFC Championship game was Arizona at Carolina. Carolina destroyed them. And then the Super Bowl ended up being like Panthers 6.5, something like that. 6, I think was what it was. That was way too high. And it was just because of what happened in the NFC Championship game. I think this line is inflated.
Von Miller ruined Cam Newton's life, and the rest is history.
I think this number is a little bit inflated, but I'd be careful betting against Ohio State right now. If there's Texas secondary has issues, if Ohio State is smart, which they're not really, but as long as they're smart, they will just throw to those 2 receivers and they will they'll eat Texas's lunch. They really should be able to take care of business. I hope that they do.
All right. Let's see here. Gary in UFC 51. Who is going to win the Super Bowl? Well, it's going to be the Ravens, so that my first leg of my parlay at the Westgate Superbook cashes. Yeah. So
first of all, Gary, obviously you don't watch the show. I have no idea what's going to happen in the NFL. I don't know. I'll say I'll say Detroit. That's my pick. I'll go with Detroit.
You should let me book
so
that. Let me book the no. Let me book the no, John Murray.
You wanted me to bet into you on Detroit?
City, no. Detroit, no. Field.
Okay, that's fine. We'll come up with a bet on that. I can live with that. Okay. So I went out last night to watch the Georgetown game, and Georgetown lost to Marquette. But yes, I saw in the corners on one of the side TVs that Florida was beating Tennessee by 30 points last night.
By like 100.
How the hell is that possible?
Well, it's crazy. So Florida looks great right now. And so I'm doing all my shows because everything got moved because of the Cotton Bowl and Orange Bowl. Like, so normally normally my only day off is Tuesdays. So then like I had to do some shows yesterday. I had a bunch of shows today before the games kick off tomorrow. But I blinked. I got the odds screen open. I blinked and it was Florida minus 3.5. I'm like, I can't bet Florida now. And then they just blow the doors off them. They look good. They look really good. I have 40-1 in my bet here, and then I have them parlayed there with the Ravens. You guys only gave me 35-1. Not cool.
Yeah. So like we had a customer complain that we lowered the odds on your parlay. That's because we've taken all kinds of bets on it, and we've got a whole liability on it. That's how it works.
There's some guy on the internet complaining about it. But I'm like, yeah, have you seen how great Florida's played over the last couple of weeks, bro?
There's that for sure, but also we have like a ton of liabilities, so we lowered the odds. Jeez. Next question.
Again, are you a marketing company or are you a sports book?
Well, these other companies are branding themselves. That's what they're doing.
These other companies wouldn't let you bet $5 on it. So like, I don't want to hear about it.
I don't know. I'm just saying that obviously when we have something that has a huge liability, we generally lower the odds.
All right. Well, then that's the last question. Bets Bald wants to know who's your biggest liability right now in the college football playoff. You said you guys would need Ohio State. It's Texas.
We don't want that. We don't want Texas. We do great on Ohio State. I'm actually really happy with the way we set it up. We do great on Ohio State, who I believe is the best team, who I think is going to win. We do very well on Notre Dame. We do well on Penn State. We don't want Texas.
Okay. And I know you want to have Notre Dame so that you can feel authenticated on your opinion to start the season after they lost to Northern Illinois. Do you have a college football playoff ticket in pocket, or did you just have them to make the playoff?
No, I just bet Notre Dame to make the playoff, which they did.
Okay. So you already feel validated.
Yeah, you can't win them all. We do me and the guys, every sport, we pick a team. Like in the NFL, we had Broncos over wins. And then in hockey, we have Capitals over points, which is doing like awesome. But then in the NBA, I think we might finally lose one. And we like never lose. We have Jazz over wins, and the Jazz suck. And last night they hit a three.
I've watched this many NBA games this year.
Well, the Jazz hit a 3-pointer to tie the game with like 3 seconds left, and Atlanta inbounded it, and Trae Young banked in a shot from past half court at the buzzer.
Sounds like you need a Pickett bad beat refund.
But I didn't go on Twitter and ask for my money back. I just said, give me another beer. That's what I said to the bartender. You want to talk next week, kid?
Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday for WagerTalk's last call. Bright and early. And sorry your Liverpool team is not playing, but that's okay. We're going to have lots to talk about. Your segment's going to be a whole 3 minutes because we're going to have 2 NFL games.
3 minutes? That's it? Oh, great. Okay, I can do that.
Bring some college basketball with you too.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.